the Jim and Terry Show, coming to you with freshly perked coffee, freshly ground. Yeah, it was freshly ground yesterday. Sorry, I didn't do it this morning. But we are talking about things that interest us as two retired guys with a coffee, too much time on our hand, and some music recording gear. And what better way to spend a wintry day than in a Hobbit Hole studio where we're oblivious to the winds may blow. The waves of November, the storms of November come early.
The legend lives on from the Chippewa down to the Great Lake they call Gitche-Gimme.
We're not going to sink the Hobbit Hole, but we do have questions that sometimes sink our sensibilities, that sink our heart and our optimism and our hope for humanity get sunk by some of the strangest things. And you're going to start off with your latest episode from Lawrence O'Donnell, MSNBC, who you watch somewhat religiously. And what did Lawrence caution you?
Well, yeah, I watched it last night. I do like Lawrence McDonald.
Lawrence O'Donnell.
O'Donnell. I just see my pause because I knew you were going to correct me. I can't seem to get anybody's name right anymore. Lawrence. The day he was talking, which was yesterday, they were talking about how much news that day was and how Lawrence was saying.
And that was the day of the Epstein emails.
Yeah, the emails that Trump took zero questions from the media. Zero. He just got up and left. And Lawrence was saying, if you thought that day, yesterday, he said, I think tomorrow night is going to be a bigger news night. Now, and he did warn small countries, if you think you're going to be invaded, it could be tomorrow.
Oh, so the bigger news items for today, the day after the emails that implicate Trump spending hours with the victim, Jeffrey, I think is her name, Joffrey. She was the one that his name was blocked out, but I think it's her, and she's the one who wrote the biography, and she's the one who did herself in. I don't know what words are permissible anymore.
You're not allowed to say that?
I don't know. So
never mind.
Anyway,
I didn't mean that.
For the Arizona congresswoman who was finally sworn in after 7 weeks after her election, she brought a few of the women, the victims, to the gallery because she is the 218th signature. So Trump is desperate now to prevent this. We talked about Lauren Boebert going in the Situation Room. But now the idea that Lawrence O'Donnell said with Jen Psaki on MSNBC was, if you're a small country, hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, Venezuela, you know those drug boats? Well, that's just the beginning.
Because I do believe that Trump is that dark that he would
start an international conflict to hide the Epstein files.
I do believe he's got that capability. And they've only got a week because Spineless Johnson,
I like that nickname.
We shouldn't talk like that because we don't like when they do it. But he's got a week to find a way to not bring this to the vote, because the petition is signed, and those who remain on that signature is enough to open up the Epstein files finally, and we find out some of the people, sadly enough, that you might admire may be on that list.
Well, we don't really care. We care about the long arch of justice.
Yeah.
It has to reach, I don't care how many years, 10, 20 years, but it's going to land. That arm of the law is going to reach out and touch somebody, and I sure hope, I know who I hope it is.
Well, the thing is, even if Trump somehow gets out of this, because they have said he had nothing to do with it. Now, we know he's lied because Epstein was his bud.
The emails yesterday.
Well, they partied and everything together. We know that that's the truth.
The birthday.
Yeah, they were friends, and being close friends, as Epstein said, Trump was my closest friend for 10 years. And he also said in the email he knows about the girls. Of course he knows about the girls. But maybe...
And Ghislaine Maxwell knows that he knows about the girls.
Maybe his worst fault is he never said anything or did anything to rescue any further girls, because we think the number's up around 1,000 girls have been trafficked by Epstein. So even if he's clear somehow of that, he might have had some stern warnings by the people on that list. If this list gets out, you're not.
So there are some power brokers even above Trump.
Well, I think collectively, yeah. I mean, governments are overthrown. That happens all around the world, and something could happen. And I'm not saying I want that, but that might be the reason why, in fear, he's trying to find a way not to release. Obviously, he's trying to find a way not to release these files. So either he's in it or he knows people who are in it, and not only him. His closest companions within the Trump
administration, orbit, circle,
cult is what I was going to say. They know, and they're scrambling too now to try to double talk around all that should be coming out.
When Trump loses his base, the base of the cult, because they're the ones who've been conditioned to ask for and demand, and Trump promised he would, upon his election, release the files.
I don't even know where we are on this. We're having some glitches, folks.
Yeah, we're just cutting away.
Either Trump is innocent, or he's guilty, or he's protecting somebody else. Something is there. He will not release those files. We've already seen the war room. We've talked about that. Yeah. We've seen all the efforts, the closing down of government for 7 weeks, to prevent the
release
vote.
of the Epstein
we
files.
saw them not swear in a representative of the government, which was ridiculous.
So they've gone to extraordinary extents to dodge
unbelievable, and of course the war room, and so they've gone through a lot to scream out to us, "This is horrible." That all the more is the reason for a civilized world to say we must release these files.
Let's take our cue from the UK with the Windsor, formerly known as Prince, and say if they're willing to do that, then what is the responsibility of the U.S. then? And I'd say let's take our cues from the U.S., just like I would say let's take our cue from the BBC, who I think is going to fight the lawsuit, the $1 billion lawsuit from Trump. Everybody's saying, how do you arrive at that number? He doesn't. He pulls it out of his ask me no questions. And that's the way he rolls. Just whatever Trump says is true, and that's the way it is, and that's the way he does his deals. So the Epstein files, which he has, you already mentioned, labeled a hoax. And I think if Trump says it's a hoax, it's always the opposite.
Well, if he says it, if it's a hoax, why are you questioning people in the war room? If it's a hoax, why are you shutting down government? If it's a hoax, why is your chief of staff not swearing in the latest elected representative? You're doing that. We know, you're doing it to prevent this from coming out. So you're fighting awful hard to prevent a hoax where you could reveal that hoax by simply releasing the files. You say, there you go. It's nothing but a hoax. But it isn't a hoax, and you know it. Yeah. You're either protecting yourself and or you're protecting others. And why are you protecting others? Because you're such a nice guy? No, you're the one that wanted your friend Hillary Clinton locked up. So you're not a nice guy. So you're being threatened.
Don't forget about her emails.
Yeah.
It's his emails. Yeah. It's Epstein's emails.
He's guilty as sin, and he's just self-protecting here, or he's being threatened. They better not come out. And the sad thing is remember, they campaigned on releasing them.
Exactly.
So there's your brilliance.
Which is why he's losing some of his right-wing podcasters, such as Joe Rogan.
They're all in it for the money. If they can get money, they'll be right back.
Well, no, Rogan was all in for the, supporting Trump until Trump flipped and said, I'm not going to release it. And then Rogan switched and said, why not?
Well, he's probably switched back by now.
Well, I'm not sure.
Wherever he's got his audience, he'll switch to. I don't have much to say about
Let's talk about his popularity polls. He's always saying on Fox News, I got the best numbers ever, highest ever, blah, blah, blah. And then we take a look, and he's got the lowest numbers of any president at this point.
Well, like Putin gets elected, 95%? 95%.
Please, if you're comparing a U.S. election of Trump to a Putin election.
So Trump's going the exact same way. He's just going to say, I doubt if there'll be election. If there is an election, he'll probably win at 95%. See, I'm just the best ever.
Let's talk about the statistics that are no longer being released for the the economic statements.
Yeah.
What statistics are they using to tell us the economy is going so well, as Trump complains?
Because there's nobody tabulating
I
it.
heard he is using, number one, Walmart to compare Thanksgiving, because American Thanksgiving is coming up. American Thanksgiving is so much cheaper now under Trump. Is it? Have you seen the size of the basket and the number of items that are in that basket? It's much worse than Trump is saying.
Much worse.
Much worse. The Jim and Terry Show, signing off. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.